Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Worse Than You with Mo Fry Pasic. I'm Mo, and every week I'm asking today's most captivating artists how they got their acts together. This show isn't about their best or most famous work. It's about the work that means the most to them, their creative process, and why they make their art. This week, we have two comedians joining us. They write, they act, they perform, and together, they co-host the internet's only drag race podcast, Drag Her, and the world's crunchiest drag competition, Bad Drag Race. They also are the newest members of our Good Get family. Woo! Please welcome to the pod, Mano Agapion and Oscar Montoya. Ready, set, show!
Yes!
Wow. Those are good improvisers that wait. Hold their breath.
It was hard.
You dumped us good, Mo, okay?
You did. I love a dom. You know what my favorite dom is? Have you all ever been menu dommed?
Menu dommed?
Oh, it's I'll sit back, relax.
Yeah.
I'm my chair's wet. Yeah.
Oh, someone's like ordering stuff for you?
My husband's a big menu dom. And now it's made me such a sub little pig bitch that I can't even order for myself at a restaurant. I'm like, I don't know. My husband isn't here.
You start shaking.
Yeah, I freak out.
My favorite is when they do it and then they're like, can we get the salad and let's get the cheese on the side. They have dietary issues. You're like, yeah!
They know everything!
I love that.
And that's kind of what we're here to talk about today, yeah?
Yeah.
Doming, of course. All our creative catalysts start from doms, you know?
Okay. Well, is it, I was going to say, you said your favorite dom. I said, was it going to be Acid Betty as a puppy?
It's funny you should say dom because I feel like Oscar creatively, don't you feel like we flip fuck creatively?
I think so. I think we're both versed when it comes to our creative outlets.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an incredible place to start because so listeners, I most readily know you two from listening to Drag Her. I've been listening since day dot.
Wow.
And what I find exciting to ask you two about when you're both independently creative writers, improvisers, comedians, performers, but doing a podcast together that has some meta element of character play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like so excited to hear what parts of your banter are conscious, what parts you're tag teaming that day or taking back and forth of an obstinate position versus a personal position. Like, I'd love to hear how that dance is.
That's such a big question and such
We're getting to it quick, babe.
Intelligent question.
This is the meat of the podcast.
But this is a Neuro D podcast. We don't do light.
Am I Oscar?
Neuro D. Oh my God, that's a category.
Oscar, am I crazy to say that we're always on and always not on?
Yeah, I think that there is.
That makes sense.
You know, I do have to say, part of that creative process, it's been an evolution for me personally, because when I started collaborating with Mano, there was very much a relationship where you were, Mano, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were sort of giving open book realness. You were just very candid and stuff, and I was very withholding of information. And, you know, I got clocked by my sister.
Okay.
Yeah, she's protected.
Pretty. Yes. I'm sort of like, I gotta trust you for me to divulge information.
Right.
And you've been in a space where subverting and undercutting yourself has value.
Period.
That part. Yes. And vulnerability is really like kind of not. Listen, I did improv in New York, so it's all about being sort of very sharp and very guarded and very defensive and sort of detached, So like, I'm just so used to that. And throughout the process of collaborating with Mano, I've been very comfortable. I mean, the more projects that I do with Mano, the more comfortable I feel being my authentic self in a performative aspect.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, I really like that. Yeah.
Because I do feel safe. I do feel very safe.
Love you.
With Mano in a way that I don't really feel safe with other collaborators in that regard.
And I let me piggyback on that. I was like, obsessed with Oscar. And
Piggy.
Not again.
I feel like we are psychically connected in a way that neither of us can even control or prevent, if that makes sense. So I feel like part of it was like, yes, maybe I am sort of a let's talk about feelings person, but I also feel like on some weird cosmic level, I was like, because there's plenty of people who have a different point of view, and I don't feel the desire to like grow closer to them. But for some reason with Oscar, like I don't know why, we've always had a blast together, and I've always felt safe being like, hey, can I be unbelievably real with you? And he's always so receptive to that too. So you also open the door back, which is really nice.
So verse.
We're verse.
Verse. And that's the definition. Ding.
We're very verse.
Well, I like that because it's also it's very scary to play something close to you in any space, like any actor or any improviser. So we shy away from it because we worry that those parts of ourselves will be seen. But when someone makes you feel safe, you're actually able to play the vulnerable parts and not feel exposed. And
absolutely.
It's huge. But it is an intangible. Like it's a trusting.
Yeah.
Like someone's going to take care of you and not humiliate you.
And I think I'm like to be like I'm more vulnerable with Oscar than a lot of people because again, you can feel like the genuine joy or something. Like when I get messy around Oscar, I get vulnerable, I get offended, I get in my feelings. But like I always know Oscar's gonna like laugh with me or like just celebrate my weirdness in a way that makes me feel part of it. If that makes sense. I still feel like, we're still doing this together, but also we're laughing too.
Also, because I understand too, we grew up similarly. We have the same neuroses, we're very similar. So like I understand. I feel like I understand where he's coming from and he understands where I'm coming from. And that just facilitates creativity. I think we don't need to like explain ourselves when we like come up with ideas together. Like we just understand.
And that way you're also not like Sudie Green, this play that this podcast was based on was my director and icon and best friend of mine and creator and just perfect girl.
Amazing
but
writer.
We always say just a writer, but also like, let's get that girl on my camera.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
dynamic. But what I love about our relationship, we always say our love language is rolling our eyes at the same thing. And it's unspoken. It's shared. It's like a shared, we just know what to roll our eyes at together. It's not, you don't really have to explain yourself. And you're also not having to say, well, this is why I didn't like that. And it's just easy because there's like a shared language that you can't really describe that's not necessarily cultural or personal, but it's just like heart-based.
Absolutely. I think also when it comes to collaboration, it's so much easier to feel free to create without judgment because when you're creating your own stuff, it could feel like you have that sort of spiraling moment. I don't know if y'all ever felt this way, but when I'm creating my own stuff, I feel like, oh my God, is this just for me? Am I like creating this work in an echo chamber where no one is going to resonate or relate to this except for me? But when you have somebody else that will react to the same stuff that you do, you're like, at least I'm not the only one who thinks this is funny. There is somebody else who is volleying ideas with me, and at least we get it.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah.
I feel like we also like celebrate our differences. So for example, like, we joke about it, but I do think more like a writer And I think Oscar thinks more like an actor. And it's fun when we do Bad Drag Race together. We get to kind of celebrate those differences. Like if I am doing a lip sync and I know for a fact, Oscar's a trained dancer and performer, he will give me like really helpful feedback on like, I came to this lip sync with a funny idea that I kind of wrote.
Mm-hmm.
I do need help making it maybe the stage picture better or living in it or like kind of the performance side of it.
Completely. I adore it because it's like it's a person that sees you, so therefore you're able to take criticism and support, not even criticism, just like support. And I think it's exciting in this way where I'm wondering, so we usually start with a Too Long Didn't Read, which is a summary of someone's creative process. And I'm wondering, since we're talking more about even your creative relationship as its own entity and its own sort of living creation, I'm wondering if you guys could each kind of muse on what you think the Too Long Didn't Read of your creative collaboration is.
Oh, that's fun. What do you think, Ozzy?
Our Too Long Didn't Read is quite short, actually. The thing that I connect, we were talking about this before we were recording, Mo, is this idea of communicating in pop culture references, like the parlance of it all. Like Mano and I are so connected in terms of the things that we absorbed as like growing up as queer kids of color. Like we have consumed pop culture in a very specific way that, to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mano, but that seems to always be a reference point to our creative catalyst. Yes. And then we sort of build upon that based on our interests. So like it always starts from an external idea and then we make it personal through our like warped queer perspective.
I really like that.
Yeah, something we can't stop talking about is the moment in America's Next Top Model.
Oh my God. I'm in.
With
exactly. Okay, Mo.
Do you want to guess what it is, Mo, or no? Wait, what? I don't know.
Well, there's like 600. Like,
there are 600. Okay.
Because it's also like, who's scared? Who else is scared? But then there's Chewy Barbary. Then you have like, I was scared. And which is better than I've never yelled at a girl like this before in my life. The moment after is so much better.
People don't talk about the moment after, though.
The one.
Raise your hand if you were scared.
Raise your hand if you were scared. Or when they get Britney that weave. What?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, in cycle 8, when Britney was at the Go-See, remember the Go-See challenge?
And she was 4 minutes late or whatever.
Yes, 4 minutes late. And she had a fucking breakdown. And the Russian girl was like, there are people having wars in other countries.
Natasha, who couldn't stop clenching her lips, she goes, there are wars in other countries?
and Natasha having like, I guess like a sugar daddy. And she was like baby talking with him.
Oh, I forgot about the phone call.
Do you remember that?
Also, I'm reminded. I'm like, is the moment you guys are talking about of you had sex with him?
No,
Shandy. Yeah.
But yes, Shandy, incredible moment.
You really good.
That guy goes way too hard on her.
You had sex.
She worked with him at Walgreens, and this man is on national TV.
Literally. Oh no, sir.
Oh my God.
Wait, okay, tell me the moment. I love this.
I don't know. Okay, so we're talking about her name's Jade, right?
Oh,
Jade.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Jade with her little veils.
The cover girl moment where she's supposed to improvise and walk up. Well, she walks up the stairs at her party, and then she's given the product.
I like listeners. I'm really making like a meaningful face.
Lightweight makeup.
Yeah.
Fuck. That moment. Wait, why does that moment have so much significance?
All of that. I don't know. Well, I think because Jade is a drag queen.
Yeah. That's why.
She thought she was Prince. She fully thought she was Prince the whole time.
The beautiful biracial butterfly, of course.
Yes.
And that moment, because they are asking her to improvise, and the first take, she doesn't say a single thing. She's just clomping down the pavement, and nothing's happening. So they make her do it again, and this time she said, "Okay, drag queen powers activate." And so she's just sort of walking around. Hello, fabulous. Hello,
oh my God,
very Delta work.
Yeah,
and the party's at her house.
Yeah,
like in this fake reality.
But she's also not projecting. She's kind of just like,
exactly. She's whispering. She's whispering all these lines. A stage actress she is not.
Close camera, Alec Baldwin style.
That part. And when it comes time to say the lines, she forgets the lines. But she's trying. God, she's trying.
Did one of you say that in the cadence and the other lit up? Is that how you discovered that?
I feel like Oscar is a little more tapped into ANTM. I've got to give credit to Oscar. Like, Oscar knows cycles down. I'm more like, oh yeah, when did that happen? Oh, okay. Like, I know the big hit.
But I'll say this though. Any deep cut that I'm like, I don't think anyone's going to get this, I will say it and then you will pick it up right away. Whereas I've done the Jade Fabulous stuff before to other people and been look at me like I'm insane.
Yeah,
they don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
You are. Just referencing 2006 reality TV in conversation, we should say is insane. We need to own. We all need to own that.
But do you know what I love about it is like, oh my gosh, you can't describe the feeling of that well being being witnessed. Because, I recently had a very similar experience where during the fires, my friend Demi Adejuwibe, another icon star, king.
Icon, true icon.
He put together a little house where people could come and we all went down and it was so lovely. And it was a bunch of people like us who have the same language, who are funny and maybe internet coded. And this guy walked in front of our car and there was 6 of us in the car and he had a single envelope. And I just under my breath was like, Kurt Vonnegut ass bitch. And everyone exploded. And it was this moment where I had been so used to a reference, which to the listener, there was this kind of viral, ages ago, letter that Kurt Vonnegut had written to a child giving him advice of I go to the store, I buy a single envelope. On the walk there, I can see things, I'm inspired. And the fact that all of that has sort of created this moment where everyone had experienced that and then got to laugh with me. I was I got scared. I was oh, you guys knew it. Oh my God. I wasn't alone when I read that thing on the internet 6 years ago. It's cool.
Yeah. It's so cool. And that, I think that extends to the creative process too, of I don't know. It feels good when people respond to what you think is what a personal process is. You create something that is so meaningful and deep and personal. And then you see people being like, I get you. Yeah. Okay. You're the same type of freak as I am. That feels good. That's why we create. You know what I mean? We want to say our personal stories and then realize that our personal stories can unite a bunch of people together.
I feel so insane saying this, but there is something as stupid as all these pop culture moments are, it is an invitation to the party. You know what I mean? Just being
that's the title of share it, heaven on earth. It is. That's so beautifully said.
They're come on in, let's kiki.
I mean, case in point, when we started Bad Drag Race, Mano and I did the show honestly for ourselves. We were let's do a show where we can get into drag, because we haven't really done drag before, and we're let's just try doing it. We'll say it's not good. It's comedians doing drag for the first time. And we'll sort of do a fake version of the real thing. And when people showed up, made the show sell out. The fact that we had to go to a bigger venue and that big venue also sold out. We're still gagged to this day. We're the amount of people that are interested in the show, that want the show to keep happening, that ask us every time if they could be a part of the show, real Drag Race queens asking us to do the show is kind of shocking, because it comes from a place where it's just Mano and I are creating this thing. Everyone's invited. Let's see who shows up. And it's oh, look at all these people that are showing up, It feels great.
It's really fun. I think comedians or weirdos or whoever's doing it, it's people really love getting to live the fantasy of being on a drag stage. And everyone, obviously everyone loves to live a fantasy, but it's cool that we've accidentally created a true fantasy play space where it's just imagine you're on the show or whatever that means. It's been a really interesting thing that we I think I don't sound so corny, but as just everyone likes to dream and fuck around, and we accidentally created a place to do that.
The McDonald's Snack Wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch Snack Wrap. Spicy Snack Wrap. You broke the internet. For a snack. Snack Wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love, starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Hugely, and I don't even think it's an accident. I think it's just exciting that it's resonant. Like, because what I love hearing about is saying you two are verse in your creative collaboration, right? And let's give those polarities like giving, receiving, right? Or masculine, feminine, but fuck a gender type shit. Like I see where you're more vulnerable, Mano, that's more right receptive, more divine feminine, we'll say. And you know, if you're more closed off or more sharp about the logic or wit, that's more, you know, masculine. And then you switch because it's like, Oscar, you have this dance and this performance experience. And then Mano, I adore listening to you when you give that sort of teacher style breakdowns on Drag Her of like, hey, here's the beats, here's the formulaic thing I respect, and here's what would be needed. And that's more logical science, like whatever the divine thing is.
Wow, that's really cool.
You guys really dance between those characters in a real applicable way that I love hearing you guys put words to.
Wow, I'm very charmed that you noticed that. That's really cool.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Feels good to be seen, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's really sweet of you to
Beautiful
say.
gowns. Beautiful gowns.
Beautiful gowns. Gorgeous
Good
gowns.
singer. Young singer.
Nicki Minaj? No.
No. And for listeners, another reference. And that one you'll have to find yourselves.
Oh my God. That's so cool. Okay.
It is.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. We have a fun time creating together. Yeah.
But to that, okay, right? Like, then how much of it when you're creating is conscious of like, we're just going to make, or it's like, hey, we want to keep trying this part of ourselves and be seen in this way?
I feel like we just throw shit at the wall. Am I being crazy to say that, Oscar? We just try shit. Even with like, I don't know, even whether it's the podcast, we let whatever is going to happen. Definitely with Bad Drag Race, we're like, because even when we come up with like our own lip sync numbers, I think we will occasionally be like, oh, we're both going to do something that's Christmas. But for the most part,
right,
we never like put a guardrail on like, I feel like we both very much respect being like, I want to do this month, and vice versa. Like, yeah, great, do whatever the fuck you want to do. Yeah.
But I do want to talk about the evolution of your drag persona, because for those of you who don't know, Mano's drag persona is named Basic Bitch. Why that name? And also, the kind of drag that you do now is very different than Basic Bitch, like,
that's true.
6 years ago.
That's true. Yeah, I guess if I'm being really vulnerable, because let's go there.
As you should.
Please. Yes, I love it.
I think like being a character named Basic Bitch was like a safe place for me to try drag. Like it was like a safe little cover to be like, oh, I'm making fun of basic people. Like because at first I was doing like a floral Instagram gown or like an oversized plaid boyfriend t-shirt. You know what I mean? So it's like
some Uggs and leggings and
yes,
a North Face.
all of that. Pumpkin spice latte as a look. And I think at the time it was like a safe way it was like I was protecting myself from being too vulnerable in terms of like just being the most brave version of my drag character, if I'm being super honest. And I guess over the years, over just experimenting, and again having people around me just be supportive, especially Oscar, just being like, I don't know, keep trying stuff. I don't know, or just being like, I don't know when did it happen? When did the change happen?
Well, you kind of started. Your lip syncs were sort of very like commentary on, I think, whiteness, honestly, to be real with you. Like the way that I perceived it, it's you living the fantasy of what it would be like to be a basic white woman.
Yes.
Or not to have to live up to excellence. Like in that way, it's very meta.
Exactly. Yes. And to experiment because you are a person of color that does have to work really hard to be seen by a white audience as sort of normal when you are in fact extraordinary. I think your drag taps into like what it would be like to be celebrated by trying your least.
Yeah.
You know?
Love that.
Like
okay,
white
another
people
title.
culture.
Wow.
Trying your least.
This is therapy.
I think something
Usually.
somewhere along the way, yeah, it is. But I think somewhere along the way you were like, let me experiment with like the kind of performances that I do. And then you started getting into like mixing different references.
Yeah.
And because you're a writer, a lot of your pieces now are very sort of like a stitched sort of pop culture tapestry to a bunch of songs. You know, it's giving collage.
I found a lot more confidence in doing that, which was, again, it was an absolute accident because the show became honestly a bigger success than we definitely wanted or intended it to.
100%.
Like, now I have to raise this kid. Oh,
Truly.
Exactly. That part.
I was like, oh God. And then, but somehow I got, I don't know. I just, somewhere in my brain unlocked and was like, well, why don't you look at it like writing a sketch? You know what I mean? Which was always allowed. It was always allowed, but for some reason I was blocking myself. And now that I look at it like a lip sync number, that's like, it's a sketch or a comedic point of view explored through drag, I have so much more fun. And I'm weirdly so grateful that the show like let me get out of my own way. And I mean, also obviously very supportive friends like Oscar helped too.
I love this because I always joke my 3P is gonna TM, but it's processes about permission and perspective. And I think me and Anu Valia, another icon, keep name dropping icon, but we were talking about how important validation is, and when you haven't received it, either in your art or in life, right? As a person of color, as a gay person, as a queer person, as anything, it is so important to kind of just pick something to do. And when you're saying like it's protective, it's like it's also like a really healthy protection because you hadn't received or been told that was safe or had the permission to do it. And so then when you have collaborators that continually say keep going and give you permission, which you probably couldn't give yourself.
Period.
It's like it's so heavy. That's why these collaborations are vital.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really lucky to have people like that. And again, with I have so many people in my life, and I've been, obviously it's getting better, but I was at some point in my life surrounded by people who believed in me more than I believed in myself, which was like just shocking. And I was like, wait, there's so many people around me who love me. How can I fucking reflect some of that love to myself for the love of God? Yeah, I got
or you
very
kind of have
lucky.
to ask yourself why you disagree. Like you're forced to ask the question.
Yeah. I've been very lucky to slowly be on that healing journey with a lot of kind people in this comedy community for sure.
That's why I think we get into comedy, because it's like it eventually you get enough debris cleared from the path with comedy, with putting it into your art, that you can look at this stuff. And it's like, and then we like are comedians, so we're taught to be like, oh, it's humiliating that I care about myself, right?
Yeah.
And it's
I think
tough.
that's the expectation as comedians, is to be self-deprecating, to be a little like, hey, I'm kind of gross, right, guys? You can laugh at me. That's okay. You know?
Two things I'm reminded of when you say this. I love hearing this. I think it's beautiful and affirming of like just the need to be in existence with each other. One, you're saying you do like mixes of pop culture. Talk about I wasn't in the right space. I did a show at Duplex like years ago, like brief one-offs, and I would open with a super mix, and one of the people just hadn't been online enough for it, but one of the openings was Miss Mojo talking about the top 12. Where are they now?
Oh my God.
America's Next Top Model.
You literally are speaking my
Oscar
language.
Yes.
loves Miss Mojo.
And she's saying it in this voice that is so happy.
Yeah.
And it's the darkest, most
unhinged.
horrible, and I pray for those whatever's going on, like God bless, but it's going, she passed away in this year.
Right.
And you're going, holy fuck. And so then I
Yes.
did that mix and people had no idea what it was.
That is
They
really
thought it was such a
funny.
weird opening.
That is really funny.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Summer's here, bringing sunshine, road trips, beach days, and sweat. Without the right underwear, things get uncomfortable fast. That's where MeUndies comes in. Made with unbelievably soft, breathable, micromodal fabric, MeUndies helps you stay cool, even when the temperature's not. From briefs to boxers, cheeky cuts to bralettes, MeUndies has it all. To score sizzling summer deals like up to 50% off, go to MeUndies.com/Spotify and enter promo code Spotify.
I love you talking about the themes of like maybe unintentionally dialoguing with whiteness and your identity, because I met Oscar, I didn't even meet, but I got to see Oscar, over a decade ago perform the show Ethnic Realness at the Pit. And I loved it so much.
I remember this show. You did it in LA like once or twice.
Yes, I did. I did it twice with Bowen when he was in town. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was our baby.
It was a perfect show, but it was especially at a time, right, when it was like not like, I don't know, you were having to swim upstream and dialogue a lot about the shorthand you were saying about being a minority in this space.
Yes.
And you're in dialogue with that.
I mean, I think the whole catalyst of Ethnic Realness happened because Bowen and I were on an improv team where we were the only people of color. And that was normal. I mean, actually, it was kind of weird because usually in an improv team, it was one person of color. Mm-hmm. So Bowen and I were on a team together and we both felt so overlooked on that team. And people were kind of like, what do you even bring to the table? And we're getting very frustrated. So we were like, let's just create our own space where we celebrate queer voices of color and like, let's do stuff that tickles us personally. And we were like, it could work, it could not. We're doing it for ourselves and we're giving a space to other POC comics. And then it just became this thing. It got very popular. Like our crowds were incredible. We started bringing drag into the show and it was the best time. And it was the first time I produced a show as well. Wow. So I was it was a lot of
work.
Yeah. But again, it didn't feel like work because it was a collaborative process between me and Bowen. So we both carried the workload. So it didn't feel like, again, if I was in charge of doing Ethnic Realness, it would never happen, ever.
Yeah.
So thank God for Bowen, just in general. Another icon.
Always icon. Dearest soul.
I want to talk about Ozma because you, Oscar, very generously asked me about my character. I want to ask you about Ozma because Ozma has always been a very confident character, a side of Oscar that like doesn't need to be funny, but like absolutely you kill it because you come. I feel like ever since we started the show, you were like doing some clown, some dance, true high drag. Where the fuck did that come from?
So, okay, way back in the day, even before comedy stuff, I used to choreograph for a lot of drag queens in New York. I also was very good friends with Thorgy Thor. Shout out to Thor, another icon.
That violinist,
this is
the
the name drop
house
episode.
down. I love that.
But I would choreograph for Thorgy Thor, Miss Jade, but I was like, drag isn't for me. This is their thing, like. I'm not touching their thing. I'm just going to choreograph for them. And it was really fun. And then when I sort of allowed myself to do drag for Bad Drag Race, I was like, well, this is my connection to drag is dance. So I got together with my friends and we choreographed something in a group that I call the Osmonauts. And to me, I was like, wait a second, my entire creative career has been collaborative. Like I realized that, I really enjoy the process of working as a team, period. Working as a team, doing stuff together. Like I'm so tied to the community of it all that it even boils down to my drag. And so Ozma became this clown that sort of did alt drag. And I would say like maybe hyper serious drag, like so totally like focused and not funny in any way.
You do comedy too, but I feel like you gag people when you're like, oh, I just did a jaw-dropping number and it didn't need to be haha, coo.
Yes, I will say one of the best compliments that I have ever received was from everyone's favorite, Chris Renfro.
Chris! Good get family.
Hey.
Branding.
A sibling, Branding, who came up to me and I love Chris Renfro so much because they're so unhinged. There are absolute moments of sincerity in them. And they came up randomly, and this is not that long ago. And they were like, one of my favorite things that I've ever seen was you were doing drag and you lip sync to Desiree's Kissing You. From Romeo plus Juliet soundtrack.
My God, beautiful.
And it was just me standing what is called a park and bark performance.
Charlie Hyde.
and after the performance was over, I said, and I don't even remember saying this because I truly believe drag is, I think the spirit of my drag character like really takes over. And I do not remember saying this, but they were like, yeah, afterwards you said, sometimes you don't have to be funny. And I sort of
literally just got chills.
And they were like, it changed my life. They were like, it changed my perspective in comedy. And then, cut to a couple of years later, they did the Meat Skeleton, which they performed as the Meat Skeleton on Bad Drag Race, and they easily won that season. One of the most iconic performers we've had on Bad Drag Race. But to me, that stuff is so meaningful because I think with comedies, we always feel the pressure to be funny. And I think I operate in a way that is like, listen, I'm just going to be me. And sometimes I'm not going to be funny at all. And that's okay. And sometimes I'm going to be hilarious. To me, my drag alter ego allows me to be whatever I want it to be. There's no pressure.
How did it feel to receive that, though? To have them see, like...
Insane. Yeah. Mainly because I don't remember it happening. I don't remember it happening because I'm so plugged out of myself when I'm in drag. Like, it's like, there is no part of... I mean, of course, there is part of Oscar in Ozma. But it really is, like, once I put the wig on, lashes, I'm, like, fully somebody else. And I think that's kind of not true. It is just me Super Saiyan style. Do you know what I mean? It is just
Ball
like
Z
a
thing, I think.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Yes, it is. Yes, it's a Dragon Ball Z reference. And it just feels like I feel like I'm just operating at a higher frequency where the jokes are coming to me fast. Like I'm not trying. It's just happening.
So I have a theory for this because I think when you are any sort of marginalized or an identity that has to think about the spaces they're in or hyper aware, when we create a character, usually it is just fully unmasked hyper presence where you are letting something through without the 600 veils of how is this going to be received by me looking like this in this space doing this.
It's the awareness, right? Yeah, I think when you lock into a character, the awareness has to go because you are embodying something else, you know? And then in that sort of like letting go of the awareness, it taps into a raw truth about yourself that you don't give yourself permission to express any other way.
Wow.
But I feel like that's what drag is, ultimately.
Yeah.
Drag for artists is that.
Yes, period. It is about even drag that's like hyper divine feminine, very sort of presentationally like hot. Like there is an element of truth to the person that by putting on that wig, you're allowed to open that door where in some places you're not allowed to. For fear of consequence, right? Being judged, being persecuted in any way, you know? When you embody this character, it is a part of yourself that's being unleashed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still figuring out my relationship to drag all the time. I'm like, okay, it's me, it's not me. Because me and Oscar say many times, sometimes he feels he becomes a new character in drag. And sometimes I'm like, I think we're saying the same thing. I'm like, sometimes I just feel like I'm me, but I also agree with what you're saying because sometimes I feel like it's a Mimi.
But I think it's a Mimi, LOL. But Mano, I do think that I think our drags are slightly different in the way that like my drag is an untethered, like floating balloon, but your drag is like a floating balloon that's tethered to Mano.
It's very me.
Like there is a chain between the
Virgo.
drag that you do and and the person that you are.
Right.
But I've also seen you sort of
lose the tether.
Be bigger than Mano in a way that like, oh, I think as basic bitch, you're giving yourself the permission to take up literally more space. Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that to me is a different performer than Mano Agapion.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. Occasionally I surprise myself. And yeah, again, the coolest part about the whole thing has been giving myself permission to.
You're also sluttier.
Oh, I'm such a slut.
I love that. That's what I love about the stage.
Do you know what I mean?
That's real. Okay, wait, Mo, first of all, do you do traditional drag or do you feel like there is a drag version of you when you're performing on stage?
Let's talk about Mo and drag.
Okay, and this is very good get to flip the switch on me.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I fully identify as a drag queen internally because I'm non-binary. I don't necessarily always put that forward because I feel very affirmed in my own experience. But if somebody wants to speak on it, for sure. But every time I get on a stage, I love hyper femininity, vixen, sexual. All my solo shows or half hours I used to do when I was doing stand up more. I would do it in a leotard with a thong leotard and pleasers without fail.
Hot.
And I loved it. I really do. I love my lashes. I love my thing, but that is not me in any way, shape, or form. It is something I adore. It is something that makes me feel so powerful. It is something that gives me permission on a stage because similarly, my stand-up has never been me. I'm not Hetty and talking about the thing. I sit down always, and I'm a bitch, and I love it. It is. And so to the point of what you two are saying, I think two things can be true with your personas. One, they can give you permission to be the thing you fear or be the thing you want to be. And I fear not making the space comfortable for everyone. I fear taking up too much space. And so when I'm sitting there with my ass out and my legs up and I'm going, shut up, to someone who just laughed at me, it's so liberating. And I know I don't have to feel guilty about it because I am in a full different experience. To me, I feel more aligned, Mano, with maybe it's not necessarily resonant, but with the way you're approaching drag versus I don't think that's who I am necessarily, but it's who I'm scared to be. And I want to exercise it.
Yeah.
So I know that it's not this big boogeyman.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. Do you feel like you now, can you say, now that you've given yourself permission to do it occasionally or, when you were doing more stand-up, do you feel less scared to go there, or is it still like a
in my life?
Yeah, like, or is it, now that you've given yourself permission before, is it easier to give yourself permission, or is it always a little bit of a challenge?
I think similarly to what we were saying before, it depends on the environment. I think it's always a practice for sure, but it's definitely easier. Like I dress sluttier in my real life now because I did it enough on stage and like, felt enough empowered or validated by it that I wasn't going to get, bullied or told I was, pulling attention or whatever it is. And it was kind of like, well, I feel good in this outfit. And so I definitely think existing on a stage like that for an hour and still being lovable after, still having people buy a ticket the next time does subconsciously tell you like, hey, guess what? You're not going to be abandoned if you suck a little or if you're maybe expressing an emotion authentically.
Yeah, that's powerful and should be more normal. But yeah, probably goes back to the thing you were saying of like we grew up, like comedy was like a mask for all of us at some point. And then weirdly, like the deeper you get in comedy, you realize the power is in taking that mask off.
It's crazy. And I did a couple, like I worked with some downtown theater folks back in the day. We did like Under the Radar, sort of like more new age theater stuff with Peter Weiss Mills and Julia Mouncey and Kate McGee and these wonderful creators, but they were all took themselves so seriously. Not the community, not them. They are the bit of light. That's why they work with comedians. And so it was so funny though, because then when I was with them, who both understood that world and my world, and then I was having to like speak to people after shows who were part of the theater world only, there was such a seriousness. And when I would undercut or make the mood light with a joke, they were uncomfortable. And like, I was so appreciative of Julia and Peter because they'd always kind of translate me of like, Mo can hold the vulnerability, but it's like, doesn't want to sit after with someone because it's like my character was like self-harming and crying. And then people come up, they're like, hey, what's up? I'm like, ugh, bro, this ain't for you. And so it's like, it's just interesting that balance because I also always thought comedians all had that like desire to actually be on stage or seen or vulnerable or talk about these dynamics, but they don't. So that's why I say artist. I don't mean like that someone's not artistry. I mean like an artist's heart, like someone that is doing the thing for the expression, for the feedback from the universe.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, I think like artists feel compelled to create. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference between like, I guess, extrovert energy of like, I need to be on stage. But I think artists is like, what am I trying to say? With the opportunity of having the spotlight on me, You're given a microphone to say what you need to say. And it's like, what is it? What is it that compels me to speak? What is it that compels me to step on that stage and say something? And anything is valid. Like, even if what you have to say is a fart.
I love it.
That's valid too. That's the creative energy coming out. But it is an impulse to be like, I have something to say.
I love this because I keep dancing back and forth because I also like the idea of not having anything to say and finding it through the expression.
Totally.
It's like I dance back and forth because there's like a demand avoidance in me when someone says have something to say. I'm like, I am the thing to say. I am existing it. I am living it. And so it's a tough, like logistically when you two are making or even curating who's going to be in Bad Drag Race, like, is there a theme to like what you want to say or is it just the existence?
There used to be. I mean, it used to be way more curated than it is now. Now we see talent and we want the talent. We're like, and also sometimes we take chances. Like there are people that, again, a lot of the show is people have never done drag before that want to do it for the first time. And sometimes we're like, this person is funny. Something will unlock in them when they do drag. So it is what you're saying. It's like, we're going to figure out who this persona is while this whole thing is happening. And it really is a magical experience to have them like lock into something, anything.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like what you're saying. It's like we like to surprise ourselves. And it's like we had such like this happened so serendipitously for us that it's like, I think we also enjoy like asking people who maybe are like, I don't know, but I'm really curious. And it's like, I feel like then you will probably get just as exciting of a, you'll like Oscar saying, like it will unlock something. You'll get something cool out of this. This is a treat for so many people with like interesting voices, and sometimes they don't always get the amplification they deserve. So it's pretty broad. It's like I will say the one thing we do want is we're always hungry for a truly inclusive cast that covers all kinds of drag. And I would say we go pretty hard against like the cis like cis drag queens, like cis white male drag queens. Sorry. We've had a lot of them on our show.
Yeah.
But we always are conscious of them not dominating the conversation and the cast, because we all know the reality is
those people have spaces.
Well,
the intention of the show is to expand the opportunities, and 100%.
Yeah.
And also to be like, this is drag too. Like, we'd like to piece together all different kinds of drag and make a statement as like anything is drag. Like anything is valid in drag, even if it's like a character piece that you bring and you're like, okay, it's just gonna be me in a wig, and we're like, we love that. That's drag.
Yeah.
What's the persona? What's it giving?
Yeah.
Then give.
Well, I'll eat anything that's a little meta up, but I like when people embody the themes that they're exploring in their work, and you're constantly in your identity work exploring inclusivity with yourselves, and so to embody it by being inclusive in your casting and in your thing is like, it's so exciting because it's living work. It's like living the thing you're trying to do, and I love I eat that shit up.
Tasty, so tasty too.
Yum.
Tastes just like candy.
So tasty. It'll make you crazy. What is it? Let's play basketball. Let's play some basketball. I adore you two musing with me and just like, going in and out of jokes and seriousness. We are coming to my final segment, which takes a minute. That's why I come in early, because there's a bit of musing.
Yes, I love to muse.
And you two feel primed for this. Because it is an abstract prompt. And I think as artists, when we're sort of living in trying to figure something out, trying to pull something from the ether, it is very abstract in its process. But this segment is called Thank You for Holding My Poems. And it is inspired, it's my favorite segment. It's inspired by the Russian poet Anna Akhmatova, who during the Great Terror in Russia, it was illegal to publish poems of resistance. So her and her writers community made what they called a Gutenberg system, which was they memorized edits of each other's poems. And for 30 years, they memorized and held each other's poems until it was safe to print, to publish. And that moves me so deeply, because I think being held in your mess, in your edits, in your unfinished by someone is one of the most heavenly experiences we can have as creators. And I like to think of a poem not necessarily as your art, but just existing with people. And like, to me, a poem, to think on your poem that you could bring to us, a poem for me in the play I wrote last year was just a person giving me a compliment on a day where like I thought I wasn't going to ever exist. And it was just like, I was in the world with him. It could be a barista saying hello, but it could also be a piece of art you watched when you were a kid and you felt seen, or a friend, telling you, or Chris saying to you, that moved me. So I'd love for you to think of a poem that you'd like to share that you feel you've experienced in this artist experience. And we would like to hold that for you.
Wow. Okay. Fascinating.
I'm a Pisces.
Now, and I love this. I'm just gonna be honest and say the first thing I thought to share was something I wrote down yesterday about me.
Yes, that's a poem. That's perfect.
So I'll go ahead, and this hopefully gives Oscar. I'll give you some time to muse, Oscar. But I'm currently writing sort of like my life story, sort of like my one person show, sort of like the story of my family, which is incredibly wild. And I wrote down this thought yesterday. You know, writing is a hard process. I'm currently doing the artist's way, speaking of process.
Sure, which is a beautiful commitment.
It is a beautiful commitment, and I'm really enjoying it. And like yesterday, I wrote down like 3 sentences. But these 3 sentences I wrote made me laugh. And I was like, you know what? I did it.
This is a perfect poem.
I did it. And let me just warn you though, because, you know, as Oscar knows, I sometimes, you know, my sense of humor is dark.
Great. You're talking to the right person.
Okay, it is dark. And sometimes I wonder, like, you know, when you're like, is this funny yet? Or is this still trauma?
No, my whole play was about sexual assault, and it was a riot, so don't worry, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, here we go then. This is something I wrote yesterday about my own experience, and I'll just read it. Being told you're gay before you know you're gay is such a disorienting experience. Because you think you're not gay, and then one day you wake up and realize you are. It's creepy. And it left me thinking this thought: is everyone I grew up with a psychic, or am I just Helen Keller? That's what I wrote yesterday. That's what I wrote. Isn't that really isn't that unhinged?
Can I say the visual I have in my head is you're on stage saying this, and then like the thing that comes up on the screen behind you is the 3 monkeys that say, "Hear no evil, see no evil."
Has anyone related to that experience of being like, wait, everyone seems to, like, when I was 5 years old, everyone's like, oh, you're gay. And you're like, I'm not. And then they're like, how did everyone know?
Yeah, like you're the last to know.
Yeah.
I like the beginning sentence of that too, because you're like, and then you find out I'm gay. It's like, because you're looking in a mirror every single day, and the mirror is like, you look great, and then you find out this whole time there was like a horn coming out of the side of your head. What?
Yeah. Yes.
And it is so disorienting. And like, can I trust a mirror ever again? Does everyone know everything about me?
There we go.
Yeah.
That's why I don't trust mirrors, and that's why I feel like we grow up so disoriented as queer people. I think, like, we're going back to what you're saying about needing art, is like, we need art because we need to validate our very confusing experience of coming into ourselves. It's just so confusing.
It's so but listen, I love a Helen Keller reference, but because guess what though?
Me too.
Because ain't no sense in it. Ain't no sense in gay. Not in the smell, not in the taste, not in the touch, like not in the eyes. Like
right.
And so it's true. It's the good description.
Yeah.
That's
that was my.
I really love that poem. That's a heavenly poem too, because it's you holding a poem for yourself from back then, and that's meta, and I love it.
Yeah,
true.
I've been musing on that a lot.
That's a perfect poem. Thank you.
I've also been musing on being this is for another day, but being fat and gay at a young age is always interesting too. It was an interesting experience because not only are you like to be a visibly huge person, but walk around with a lilt and walk around like you're twiddling your toes. In my bully's defense, I was like, it is objectively funny. It's objectively funny.
It's tough to want to hide when you are so big.
Taking up space.
Yes.
In personality and in size.
Yes.
Well, and also to then have like the layer of like perceived protection of like, well, I'm this identity, so I can't be this identity, and have those clash. It's like, no.
Yes. 100%.
Okay, I'm coming to whatever show this is.
Okay, great. Someone else's secret.
Alyssa's.
Yes.
Well, that was a perfect poem. Oscar, do you feel permission to share?
I do have a poem. I'll say the poem first, and then I'll tell you why this is what I picked. Are you ready?
Yes, I can't wait. I love storytelling like this. Okay.
An inchworm slowly moves along, trying to find the place it belongs, struggling all the way, inch by inch throughout the day. I watch it wander from here to there, never seeming to get anywhere. Finally, I decide to place it gently on a leaf for a meal or a safe place to hide. Also, so it can rest and survive. Now, I did not write that poem. That poem is by Walter C. Edwards. But when I was in 7th grade, I was tasked to do a poem, and I was fresh from Colombia to the United States. I had no idea what words were, poetry was. I didn't know none of that. So I said, I was so overwhelmed with the concept of poetry. I decided to look through my younger sister's book, and I found that poem, and I Duchamped it. Marcel Duchamped it.
Okay.
I plagiarized
You
it.
vanilla'd it, yeah.
And I submitted it, and I said, that's that. But it came to bite me in the butt because the teacher was like, this was such a moving poem. And I got recognized in my school.
Oh no.
I got a medal.
A poetry award.
And I said, they're gonna catch me. They're gonna know that I plagiarized this poem, and I never got caught.
Oh, it's worse. That's worse.
And I want to say, and that is worse. That is worse. And I want to say that I have spent the rest of my life creatively creating as penance for plagiarizing in the 7th grade.
Which you should be doing.
Which I should. And that to this day, I'm creating stuff as a way to make amends to stealing someone else's intellectual property.
Oh my God. Oscar, I'm going to gag you. I've done the same thing.
Oh, sister. Wait, from what? What did you steal?
Love is patient. Love is
in
kind.
In high school, this is so crazy. In high school, it was some sort of writing competition. And like I had won a writing competition before. And so I was like, oh, just like, I love this.
Pressure's on.
I stole this monologue from, I think it's from Kids or something.
The movie Kids?
Miss Myrriah back again.
Yes, like in the 90s.
Harmony Korine's Kids?
The 90s one.
Damn.
That's a tough
and there's this monologue
tough watch at a young age.
about like someone getting cancer or something. Like my dad got cancer monologue. And I like wrote it as a short story, and it like won some like statewide award for literature in North Carolina.
Well, I'm sorry, statewide?
Like maybe it was county, maybe it was
that.
city. I don't know, but I was like,
oh my God.
It became like my greatest anxiety. Is that why we're linked?
Maybe.
This is your core wound. We've just come into the cave of healing.
Absolutely. I think we're going to hell, but not for the reasons we think we are.
I just had to say that out loud. I don't know if I've ever said that out loud.
Shut up. Really?
Heavenly to Witness. This is the poem in itself. First to Witness is.
Wow. Well,
we're connected.
Not the same well. Not that well. Here's my thing, though. What I really I find achingly heartbreaking is first with the inchworm just needing a place to rest and someone to help it. It's this young kid. Like, it's so embodied. And it's like, what a genius child who is put in an environment to do a task that, like, they're not getting help with, who finds a way to do it. And in fact, does it excellent.
Yeah.
And in the same way, you had that pressure to be something. And it's like, I think that guilt of perfectionism and excellence that is put upon marginalized identities and also just perfectionists or people who have had hardship is like, you do know, you're like, yeah, logically, I know cheating in high school and doing harmony Korine's bad, but a little bit of me is a little bit worried still.
Yes.
You know? And it's like, no, that kid's brilliant. Both kids are brilliant.
I mean, and to be real, like that inchworm is you, Oscar, because just to big up Oscar, like you are miraculous. You are really cool. And like, you have built, let's be really real, you built yourself up, like, despite having some negative voices around you. And I just want to echo all the time, like, I find you so amazing and astonishing. Yeah. And because you've become a superstar when there just wasn't a ton of support around you at a young age.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say the same for you also. Like, it's kind of insane to think about, despite the current going against you, we're still swimming.
Yeah.
We're still swimming. And not only that, we're like kind of thriving. We're
having
doing
fun
well
with the current.
Yeah.
You're not
You
like
know?
fighting it. You're dancing on top of it. Like it's really something.
Yeah. That's true.
It's miraculous. But it comes from within, you know? And we had to generate that.
Do you celebrate that about you, though? That's, as your friend, I'm like, wait, does Oscar celebrate that?
You know that I don't
know
really.
You don't.
You know that I don't.
But I want you
to.
to.
You know.
Well, here's my thing: is it's always like you can only look at your own paper, and I think what I've learned from this, right, is Oscar gets to by way of you, like not necessarily if Oscar can't, you're doing that, and eventually enough of the walls will have been weakened that Oscar can do it for himself. And like that's the heavenly part about the creative collaboration, is that you two give each other the love that you definitely deserved and maybe didn't get, and exchange that.
Wow.
Wait a second.
Wait a fucking second.
Wait, slow down. Wait. So what you're saying is
I can tell my therapist to go home. You just fixed all my problems.
Save some money this month.
Why is your therapist there?
Well, that's a weird dynamic that we should also talk about.
Your therapist doesn't sleep in your guest room?
Can I tell you, none of us are talking about Marilyn Monroe sleeping at her therapist's house all the time, but that's for another
canon?
I didn't know that either, actually.
Yeah, because not enough of us are talking about it.
Wild
manipulation.
Say that.
Wow.
Well, this has been heaven. I like to end on the word manipulation. Wow. After an emotional, beautiful core. I would just like to say, can you tell listeners where to find Bad Drag Race, where to find Drag Her, where to find both of you individually?
Absolutely. You can find Drag Her, the only Drag Race recap podcast to ever exist in the world.
Which I was there for that first time of the joke, and I love it. I love
it's
it being
funny every time.
It's funny every time.
Every time.
You can follow us at Drag Her Podcast on Instagram, also on YouTube and TikTok. And you can also follow our Patreon at www.patreon.com/dragher. And you can follow us individually. Drag Her Podcast. Sorry.
Tag
and you
team
can,
back
no,
again.
thank you, baby. Thank you.
Virgo.
And you can follow us individually at OzzyMo, OZZYMO on Instagram, and Mano Agapion on Instagram as well. Did I forget anything?
No, you slayed that shit.
Well, I kind of didn't, but
I just had to come in with an honest. That's it.
And that was inclusion, and Oscar gave you opportunity.
You know what? That's a collab.
Well, I end every podcast by giving my listeners and you a compliment, and knowing that I don't think adjectives should have gender, I say, "Oh my God, you're so pretty."
Thank you.
Worse Than You with Mo Fry Pasic is hosted by me, Mo Fry Pasic. You can learn more about this week's guest and the Worse Than You team by checking out the show and episode copy. Worse Than You with Mo Fry Pasic is executive produced by Erica Getto, Myrriah Gossett, and Lauren Mandel for Good Get and Disco Nap Productions. Oh my God, you're so pretty.
Lightweight makeup.
Yeah.
Fuck. God.